Hello everyone, welcome to the third video of this series. Today I'll be talking about graphs and tables and how you should include them on your board. So first, starting out with graphs because I like them a lot more. Graphs are a really powerful way to convey information to your judge. And the reason is because the judge can take one look at your board or one look at your graph and kind of gain the information that you want them to gain, right? So if I'm testing two treatment options and I have a bar graph that kind of compares the two, then it's really easy for the judge to say, oh, I see this treatment A works a lot better than treatment B, right? Or if I'm plotting a trend over time and there's a line, right? It's really easy for the judge to say, oh, I see what the trend that you're talking about. I see what you found. If you give a judge just like your raw data, right, before filtering it and before putting it into a graph, if you put it in a table and you give it to them, the judge is just not going to have any idea what to do with it, right? The judge is going to look at it and say, it's not like they're going to take out their calculator, start punching in numbers, maybe get out a sheet of paper and start graphing it. And yeah, that's not going to happen, right? Your judge is not going to kind of gain the information that you want them to gain. So that's why I feel like charts are really, really powerful. And when you're making a chart, make sure you're picking the appropriate type, right? If you're comparing two variables, you probably want to use a bar graph. If you're kind of plotting a trend over time, maybe a line graph would be best, right? So make sure you're picking the right type of chart. Make sure you're also labeling your axes, right? You want your independent variable on the x-axis, your dependent variable on the y-axis, right? And make sure to label those axes with the right units, with the right kind of labels so that it's more standalone, so that if you're not at your board and a judge walks past, right, they can kind of understand it by themselves, right? And lastly, if you are doing multiple trials or you have some sort of statistics, right, make sure you add error bars onto your bar graphs, right? And this is because if you take in statistics, you know that if error bars overlap, that means that it's not statistically significant, right? So if you're doing anything like that, it's really easy to generate error bars. I know on Google Sheets, it's just 2 clicks. You generate the error bars and they ask you what type you want, and you can just add it that way. So it's really easy all around, and it's just something good to add if you can. And now tables. And I know I don't enjoy tables as much, but there are some cases where tables can be a good way to show information, right? But what you don't want to do is add tables with a large amount of data because, again, the judge is not going to sit there and read through it and gain what you want. The judge is just going to get bored, right? But if you're showing a very little amount of information or a really well-organized amount of information, that would be a good time to use a table. And I guess my tip for that is if you're using a table, colors can be your best friend. For example, if I'm trying to show different treatment options or different devices to see how they worked, right? For the good ones, I could maybe shade the box green, and for the bad ones, I could shade the box red, right? That's way it's really easy for the judge to kind of look at it, take a glance at it. They see that it's green, they see that it's red, they know what worked, they know what didn't, right? So with that in mind, just everything that we do, we're trying to make it easy on the judge to understand our project, right? Because that's ultimately what we want them to do, is to understand. So using this trick, using colors, using bigger text, using well-organized tables, that could be a really good way to use tables. So overall, I would stick to graphs, but if you have data that you can show in tables in a good way, make sure to try to keep it concise, right? And make sure that the judge, it's really easy to understand for them. So thank you a lot for kind of tuning in on this video. Next, we will be talking about academic integrity and citations. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. As always, I'll have links in the description below. If you want one-on-one tutoring, I have a Google form for that. Also, if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email. My email will also be in the description, or leave a comment and I'll see if I can get to it as soon as possible. Finally, if you learned something new or you wanted to support my work, there's a link down below that you can buy me a coffee or support my work. All of that is not mandatory, but I would really appreciate if you did that. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys soon.